Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing this evening, Thursday, 6 p.m.? It's Scott Rabo with MindSpout coming to you on Facebook Live. And I hope everybody is doing okay and is staying safe. And just wanted to expand upon the conversation we had on Tuesday, where I talked a little bit about web browsers and which ones were the best. And now that we've kind of established that it's a multiple choice option, and so it kind of depends on what you're trying to do. Let's dive a little deeper. And I wanted to dive deeper into when you're using a browser. How do you stay safe, secure, anonymous when you're searching around? And as I said in my uh, post that went out announcing it live, is sometimes you'll be searching for something and next thing you know, that's popping up on your Facebook feed and Instagram, and it's like, whoa, how did that happen? Well, honestly, it happened because there's trackers everywhere, and Google is one of the biggest ones in terms of tracking what you're doing and your search engine history. And it just goes on and on with as you start tying things together with Facebook and Instagram, it's just this big mound of data that gets conglomerated and is shared. So let's talk about some steps to help you stay safe and anonymous and secure no matter what browser you're using. And the first thing I tell people is be very cautious in using an unprotected or public Wi-Fi. It's one of the things you'll see in the cyber attacker world is what they call rogue access points, where they'll deploy an access point that is broadcasting the same Wi-Fi name, but it actually redirects you to a malicious website. So I mean, I know we're not moving around, and so this is less of an issue, but definitely for the future, when if you're at a Starbucks, you're at a Panera, those places have free Wi-Fi. If you're going to use that, there's also some other things you should be doing on top of it to make sure that you're safe and secure. One of the things that you should always be doing is making sure that you're on HTTPS for your website. And for those of you that don't know what that means, is that it's simply a protocol for websites, and the S means secure. And what you're looking for is in Chrome, in the address bar, you look for that little lock symbol in the left-hand side of the address bar. And Google has gotten really good about making sure that if it's not secure, it flashes a message and says, hey, this site is not secure, be cautious. You can override it and go to it, but it does flash up a message. So make sure you're using that you have HTTPS, and that goes the same for Firefox. There's a little lock icon, and there's actually, and I'll talk about this in just a second, browser plugin, but there is a browser extension you can use called HTTPS Everywhere, which helps make sure that the websites you're on are secured. So browser plugins, browser extensions are everywhere. They basically increase the functionality of your browser. The problem is that some of those are not they're not doing anything other than collecting data on top of whatever else they say they're doing, and they can be as malicious or more malicious than some of the viruses and malware that's out there. So be very careful when you're using browser extensions. If you do use them, make sure it's reputable, that it's not something that's just gathering data. It's like the proverbial, you get the flashlight icon or app on your phone and it wants access to your contacts and your phone. It's like, why do you need that? Your flashlight. So just be cautious. Search history. Google, Bing, they all track your search history. So what can you do to prevent that? Now, I'm not talking from the standpoint of you're searching how to build a nuclear bomb or this, that, and the other, but sometimes you don't want everybody and their brother to know that you're searching for reviews on an item and then you have things popping up for that item ads. So DuckDuckGo is a really good one. It's one that I use. They do not keep your data. They also help block advertising trackers. It's every bit as good as Google. Another one is the Ecosia, and I've not used that one personally, but I've seen a lot of really positive reviews. It's something I'm going to test out here soon, but it also says that Ecosia does not sell your search results to any third party. So helps protect what you're doing search engine history. And then On Tuesday, I talked a little bit how there's other browsers you can use that have your security as a priority. And some of those, Tor, Epic, and Komodo, are really good browsers that basically build on the what your browser normally does and adds a layer of security to it. Tor is free, it's open source, and actually encrypts your IP address. So it adds another layer of protection. And so, again, it's one of those things, it may not be as user friendly or necessarily as functional, for lack of a better word, as a Chrome or an Edge or a Firefox, but it does take your privacy and security to a higher level. So, something to consider. One of the things I always tell people, I do it myself, is clearing your history, your cache, as some people will say, and your cookies. Cookies are just little pieces of information that are dropped on your computer from a website, so that when you go back to that website next time, it loads faster, it remembers you, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it is a tracking system. So they know that you've been there, which, again, if you go to Amazon 5, 6 times a day or a dozen times a week, that's not necessarily a big deal. But at the same time, it's what they call an attack vector. It is a way that somebody can get into your system. So go into your history, clean your history out, including your passwords, which should not be saved on your browser. Same thing in Firefox. Clear your history out, clear your cache, your cookies, just to make sure that there's nothing residing on there. And one of the other things that I hear a lot about, a question I get, is using incognito mode or private mode. And while that does provide a layer of protection, please understand this. It only provides a layer of protection as it pertains to your search history or your browsing history from one profile to another, or from a session to another. It doesn't stop the tracking that could occur. It doesn't stop the potential adware that may be there. So it does provide a layer of protection, but it's very much uh, overstated in what it can do. And if even with all of these things in here, one of the big things that I would absolutely recommend, that's very inexpensive nowadays, is a VPN, virtual private network. And very inexpensive NordVPN, CyberGhost are two really good ones that I've used. I'm currently using CyberGhost. I've used Nord. Uh, very little detriment to the speed of your internet. But what it does is it creates encryption. It's what they call tunneling, so that your IP address is masked. People don't know where you're coming from. So again, it can be used maliciously, and cyber thieves do use it in that manner. But for you can go on, and it doesn't show that you're coming on from where you're actually located at. And there's some other benefits to VPNs, but like I said, it's anonymity, it's security, it's privacy. It just helps as another layer of protection. Like I said, you're talking $2-3 a month when you buy a annual or 2-year plan for like Nord or CyberGo. So that's a kind of a overarching. If you do nothing else, throw a VPN. You can use that in your protected or your public Wi-Fi's, your unprotected Wi-Fi's. Connect to the Wi-Fi, connect to your VPN. Much safer than just doing it with your Wi-Fi, and that's it. And certainly your browsers. And I hope that this kind of helps you take the information from Tuesday with the browsers you may be using, what's a good browser, to now take it a little step further and create an extra layer of security for what you're doing illegally on your browsing history. But just again, so it's not this eerie feeling of, hey, I just looked this up on Amazon and now on my Facebook I'm getting ads for this. So yes, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I can be reached via email, scott@mindspout.com. Would love to answer any questions you may have and help you out. And appreciate everybody for watching. I hope everybody's staying safe, and hopefully this COVID-19 thing is going to start leveling out and we can start moving back to more normal. And again, stay healthy, stay safe, take precautions to keep yourself coronavirus free, and look forward to seeing you on Sunday for the weekly wrap up on Facebook Live. Have a great evening. Bye.